warm welcome to all, whether you are joining us from near or from far across the ASEAN region. My name is Kelly, and I'm delighted to be your host for today's session. We know cybersecurity can sometimes feel overwhelming or complex, but today's session is designed to give you clear, practical insights and helpful ideas you can take back to your team. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this journey together. Right, before we begin, a few quick housekeeping points to ensure that you have the best experience today. All participants' lines will remain muted and camera will be turned off throughout the sessions. If you have any questions, just feel free to submit them using the Q&A box. And this session will be recorded and we'll be sharing the webinar's recording to everyone here via email in the coming days. We have a fantastic lineup of 3 speakers who will be sharing their insights. First off, we have Mike Edwards, BSI Global Technical Training Lead, who is based in the UK, and he will kick things off by exploring how organizations can embed trust and compliance into digital transformation, especially when adopting AI technologies. Next up, we'll hear from Mona Bajani, our digital trust lead based in Singapore. She will provide practical insights on how certification can support your organization in building digital trust. And lastly, we'll hear from Rosalind, who is also based in Singapore, who will walk you through the skills and professional pathway that we can embed in today's digital trust space. And with that, I'm pleased to hand things over to you, our first speaker, Mike.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, and thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. So I'm going to just, first of all, I want to just introduce you to who BSI are. If we can have the next slide, please. So we've been around as an organization for over 120 years. We are an organization that has in the United Kingdom what we call the Royal Charter. So as part of that, we reinvest any profit that we make back into the products and the services that we deliver to you as our clients. So we don't have shareholders. Okay, so with that in mind, we are very much a purpose-led and a purpose-driven organization. One of our main roles is we act as the United Kingdom's national standards body. So we are heavily involved in the development of, amongst other things, and I think most importantly for today are those international standards. We look at some key initiatives at BSI. So we are very much driven by the need to drive a digitally led but sustainable future, and that is very much at the heart of what it is that we do here at BSI. And one of these main areas that we look at is how can we help our clients improve, become better, to help achieve their strategic goals. And obviously, 2 of those areas is in around the area of sustainability and governance, as well as how do we support you in this accelerated digital world that we're all living in. Next slide, please. So although we are the British Standards Institution, we are a global organization. So as I say, we have quite a few offices around APAC in general, but in particular within the ASEAN region. Okay, and as you can see, we operate out of 31 countries where we have offices, but we provide our services to nearly to clients in nearly 200 countries. Next slide, please. And we support our clients and yourselves in various ways. I've talked about our role as a standards body and the development of standards. Once we have the standards in place, we have the ability to assess your conformity with those standards as part of our assurance services. And that's what we call system certification. Um, Underneath that assurance umbrella, we also have the area that I work in with BSI, and that's training. And so, and Rosalind will talk to you a little bit more about how we can help you to ensure that you have the necessary skills within your organizations to be able to demonstrate conformity to those various standards. We have quite a large regulatory services division. So if you operate in the medical device arena, for example, the medical device sector, then we can provide you with services to ensure that your medical device are compliant with the relevant medical device and in vitro device regulations that there are through the world. You may have seen on windows or on glass or on manhole covers a kite mark, okay, and that's the BSI mark of trust, okay. So we provide certifications to ensure and demonstrate that the products that you create and the services that you deliver meet a certain level, a certain standard. And one of the key areas for today is obviously AI, and we're starting to see more and more legislation and regulation around AI and AI products and services. And so having conformity against that relevant legislation and regulation is becoming more and more relevant and pertinent as well. And separate to those, okay, we also have a consulting services part of BSI. So we have teams of experts that can help you specifically in the digital trust and the sustainability arena. Next slide, please. Right, that's a little bit about us, looking at why we really are here today. AI isn't new. It's been around for over 50 years, okay? But what we have seen, certainly in the last 5 to 10 years, is an acceleration in the way in which society and organizations are using this technology. It's a fantastic tool that will allow us to innovate and become more effective and more efficient. That's the good part, yeah? And as we can see in this slide here, just in the ASEAN region alone, okay, there's expected to be, yeah, a growth and nearly doubling in the GDP across Southeast Asia in the next 5 years, okay? It's accelerating at a fantastic rate, okay? So it provides organizations with great opportunity and great power. And I want you to think about Spider-Man for a moment, yeah? And Spider-Man's grandfather, yeah? Who said to Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's really, really important, everyone. That as part of our role within what we call the AI system lifecycle, we need to be able to show that we can provide a evidence of the responsible use of artificial intelligence. Next slide, please. And so with that, okay, we need to think, how ready are we? And these are the questions that we have both within an organization and also at a country level, okay? If we are to take advantage of this acceleration in technology and the ability to take advantage of the the tools and the products and services that utilize AI, we need to be able to do that in a way that is controlled. And this is where our standards come in, everybody. Okay? Okay? It's where our national guidance and legislation and regulation is there to help us and to support us. Next slide, please. Okay, so again, across the ASEAN region, okay, there has been the development of the guidelines on AI governance and ethics. But this hasn't been created in isolation, okay? It has been fed into through international recognized guidelines and best practice. Okay, so again, as we can see, the UNESCO, OECD, the EU Commission. So although we have pockets of regional and international guidance, we are trying to work with some form of collaboration. So hopefully we have a consistent approach to the management and the control of AI. Okay. So we've looked at this from an international perspective, very, very quickly, a regional perspective. So what about individual countries within the ASEAN region? Next slide, please. So as of January of this year, okay, many of you, okay, have developed and introduced national AI policies or roadmaps, okay, and you've done that over the last, as we can say, 5 or 6 years. This is where we've really seen that level of increase in the use of AI. If you think back to my last couple of slides, okay, and we could see readiness, and right at the top was Singapore. When we look at Singapore was the first country in the region to develop its own national AI strategy. The structure and the framework within Singapore is obviously going to be more mature. So, of course, you're going to be more ready. Okay. So, what's important is if you don't know within your countries that you have these policies and strategies and roadmaps, I really do encourage you to go and see what you're doing at a country level. Next slide, please. My role within BSI is about developing courses around what we call digital trust. And the most important word that we have when we talk about AI is trust. Okay? This has been taken from the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report. It's 3 years old now, but I think it's as relevant today as it was 3 years ago. Okay? We have an obligation, everyone, okay, within our organizations, at a country, at a regional, and at an international level, to ensure that we improve digital trust in these digital technologies. Okay. Having a consistent framework that can operate across country, across boundaries, is really important to allow us to ensure that we have that consistency, that we don't drift towards fragmentation. Okay. Because the opportunities that we have with our use of AI should not be underestimated. Okay, but we need to do it with control to help build that trust. Okay, next slide, please. And so we're going to look at what I call the Holy Trinity. Okay, we've talked a little bit already about regulation, okay, and how we have that at the national, the regional, and the international level. Okay. Now, regulation we have to do, yeah. So we are required by the regulation or the legislation to comply with it. Okay. What we then have are our standards. Okay. Now, standards are voluntary in the most part. Okay. But what it does is it allows you as an organization to demonstrate that you have got a certain level of control. Now, Mona and Rosalind are going to talk to you about ISO 27001 as well as 42001, which is the AI management system. Okay, so the information security management system, okay, which is the foundation of digital trust in this international standards arena. Okay, how can I demonstrate that I manage the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of information and their associated assets? So I interpret a standard and I can say, hey, look, I conform with ISO 27001 or ISO 9001 quality management. Assurance, okay, that independent assessment on how I actually manage responsible use of AI for 42001 or the management of confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information for 27001. Okay, so they can come together and they can help you with that evidence towards compliance with the relevant legislation and regulation. Next slide, please. So when we look at ISO 42001, when we're looking at AI and the management and the governance of AI, there's three questions that we all need to answer. Okay? Can I trust, if I am the end user, can I trust the output, the decision that the AI is making? Has that AI been developed in an ethical manner? Okay. If I am using personal information to drive the development of my AI, can I demonstrate that I have trained the AI with data that has been procured and gathered in an ethical manner? Is the system transparent? Can I see where decisions have been made throughout the life cycle of the AI? Can I identify who is accountable for those decisions within what we call the AI system life cycle? Okay. If we can do this, then we build trust. Okay. How do we do that? Next slide. We consider our risk. Okay. Now, back in the early part of last year, Forbes released a report entitled "The 15 Biggest Risks of Artificial Intelligence," and we've just selected some that are here. Okay, so when we think on AI tools that are collecting large amounts of personal information, yeah, how do we ensure that the way in which it is collecting that personal information is legal, and that the management of that AI and the personal information and the processing of that personal information is done in a legal and ethical manner? One of the biggest concerns I think we all have is that how can we be sure that the decisions that the AI is making are not biased, that they are fair, and that I can trust the decisions that it makes? Okay. Fundamentally, it's a clever computer, but it's a computer, right? Okay. And we all have information and cybersecurity concerns on any system. Okay. An AI system is not any different to any other system. So we need to be very mindful of the fact that although an AI system will be created with good intentions, there will be threat actors who will want to use that AI in ways that was not intended. Okay, so we do need to consider those security risks as well. But when we look at these, everyone, Okay, and when we think on AI, we think AI really technical, yeah, really complex. But actually, when we look at this, the concerns and the risks are organizational, aren't they? Yeah. So it's as an organizational concern, not just your data scientists, your code developers. Okay, this is an organizational issue. Next slide, please. I've mentioned this term maybe once or twice already. Okay, the AI system lifecycle. Okay, and this is what I want you to take away from today, from my part of this presentation, please, everyone. Okay, we all have if we are developing an AI model, if we are creating a product or a service, a chatbot, or some form of health app that utilize AI technology, or if I am the end user, we are all involved in the AI system lifecycle. And we need to understand where we fit in, okay? And how we can have an impact on three things: the individual, groups of individuals, or society. Okay. And we need to be able to manage that. Okay. So this isn't just about, and the governance of AI isn't just about how we develop the initial model. Okay. If we are utilizing AI, we can have an influence on individuals, groups of individuals in society, and with that comes risk. And we need to be able to manage that in an efficient and in an effective manner. Next slide, please. This is taken from, for me, one of the most important standards that we have in the international arena, ISO 22989. I'll come on to that in a little bit more detail in just a second. But within there, okay, the standard identifies roles, okay, AI stakeholders within the AI system lifecycle. Okay, so understanding if you're a provider, whether you are a producer, whether you are a developer, okay, an AI user, okay, we need to understand where we are and if we're a sub-role, okay, and how we can influence that response, what we call the responsible use of AI. Next slide, please. And we've got kind of two groups of standards. So here we've got a list of what I would call more technical standards. Okay. So how do we identify bias in AI systems? Okay. An overview of trustworthiness. So what do we mean by trustworthiness? What do we mean by ethical development of an AI system, for example? Okay. So we've got these that are a little bit more technical in nature, but provides guidance on what to look for to ensure, yeah, that we can manage our role within the AI system lifecycle effectively. Next slide, please. These are the five that I'm just going to quickly walk you through, okay? If any of you have been involved in management system standards, I've mentioned ISO 27001, I've mentioned ISO 9001, okay? Quite often, we can read through the standard and maybe with a little bit of training, understand what I need to do, okay? AI is different, okay? You'll see at the end of this slide, ISO 42001, the AI management system standard, okay? You cannot, as an organization, just pick up ISO 42001 and implement it. Okay. We need to know so much more. Okay. We have these sub-disciplines that we need to be very mindful of. Okay. I mentioned ISO 22989. Okay, so that provides us with an understanding of the concepts of AI. So what is machine learning? What are the different types of neural network? What do we mean by training data? And how do we procure that training data? What do each of those elements of the AI system lifecycle actually mean? Okay. Now remember that if we are to have trust in our AI and our use of AI, then we need to be able to be transparent, which means we need to be able to show the decisions that we have made throughout that AI system lifecycle. But the people who will be making decisions about our use of AI are sitting in the boardroom. They're not necessarily technical, okay, or technically minded, okay? So we all need to understand the basics. And that is why I say, for me, this is one of the most important standards, okay? Because it allows everyone to have a level of understanding, okay? It is also what we call a normative reference to ISO 42001, which means, okay, a lot of the concepts that we talk about are used within meeting the requirements of ISO 42001. Next slide, please. So when we understand what our role is, okay, we can then start to put processes in place to ensure that we can govern our use of AI as an organization, okay? And ISO 38507 provides us with that guidance, okay? Gives us an overview of AI, so it goes into a little bit more detail at a high, at a senior level with regards to what do we mean by the concept of AI and AI systems. It provides us with guidance on what sort of policies and framework do we need to set up to allow us at an organizational level to have the policies, the processes, and the procedures in place to ensure the responsible use of AI. Next slide, please. When we understand that, we then need to think about what impact can we have. So remember, three things: the individual, groups of individuals, and society. When we understand the concepts, when we have the frameworks in place, the governance frameworks in place, understanding our role within the AI system lifecycle, understanding the how we use the AI and how it can be misused. Okay, so what are the foreseeable misuses, and how can the use of the AI and foreseeable misuse of the AI have an impact both positively and negatively on individuals, groups of individuals, and society. Okay, that is one of our responsibilities. That's going to help to build the trust because we understand where there are opportunities and where the risks lie. Okay, next slide, please. Once we understand the impact at an organization level, we can determine what risks might manifest themselves within our organization that would allow those impacts on individuals, groups of individuals, and society to materialize. And we can then manage those risks through a risk management framework. And 23894 provides guidance on how we might implement a risk management framework that relates to our role within the AI system lifecycle. And then finally, once we have all that in place, next slide, we're in a position of understanding and knowing what our risks and opportunities are based on our role within the AI system lifecycle that then allows us to put in place a management system framework based on risk, based on our understanding of the AI systems that we develop, produce, and use, and put the controls in place to be able to deliver that in a responsible manner. Next slide, please. Okay. And it's important to realize that 42001 is for everyone, not just the developers. Okay. If I have a risk to my customers or my clients as the way that I'm using an AI tool, do I need a management system framework that allows me to control the way in which I am delivering that? Next slide. There are a lot of standards. There are more. We've got, I think, 33, 34 standards at the moment that relate to AI at the international level. There are another 36 minimum in production. Okay, so please do sort of like come on to the BSI website and to our knowledge solutions part of the website to see what's coming. Okay, and if there are particular topics that are key to you, please do, yeah, ask questions on it. But to provide that initial confidence in your use of AI, these are the 5 that I would certainly look to allow you to demonstrate and have the trust in your use of AI. And I think that is my final slide. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to hand you over to Mona, who will take you through the next section. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mike, so much for that overview. I think it was really fantastic. So good afternoon. Thank you again for joining us today. I'm Mona Bijani, Digital Trust Lead here at BSI Singapore. So to continue with the same thread Mike has been sharing so well, I'm going to give a couple perspectives. One is more focused on the Singapore landscape, and the other one on how international standards can be a key part of our journey towards building trust in this digital world from a system certification point of view. So yes, so let's just start by setting the scene and take Singapore as an example case study. So as we know, the digital world rather is expanding rapidly. And of course, with this expansion, there is more heavily usage of technology, and this brings significant risks. These numbers that we see on the screen are merely a wake-up call. 44% of Singaporeans say they would stop engaging with a company after a data breach. So that's half of your market nearly gone overnight. The second item is about the Personal Data Protection Act that enforces penalties up to 1 million Singapore dollars. And if we just take the first half of last year, Singapore recorded over 500,000 cyber threats. So trust is no longer intangible. It really directly affects customer retention, brand reputation, financial health. So it's very measurable, and right now it's very fragile. Next slide, please. And so here are some of the powerful forces that are shaping our current risk landscape. The first one, everyone knows it very well, cybersecurity. But what's happening nowadays is that attacks are getting faster, more coordinated, more sophisticated, and the use of AI is being done to target vulnerabilities. The second aspect is on the privacy front, where regulatory is actually tightening. We all know PDPA, GDPR, these are only the start. Now compliance is starting to span jurisdictions and sectors. And then from an ethical point of view, as we adopt AI, machine learning, automation, we face new risks to do with algorithm bias, data misuse, and questions of accountability. And so when we want to succeed, right, we as organizations must address these dimensions as a start, because security without privacy or privacy without ethics won't build that real trust that we keep referring to. And so they're very critical in fostering the long-term relationships with your customers, with your shareholders, your stakeholders. Next slide, please. And so what really builds that trust, right? So this is a framework that helps simplify to vast extent this conversation. At the base is security, where if your systems are vulnerable, Actually, nothing else matters. You really need to focus on that. This includes things like data encryption, breach response, access controls. And then the layer on top is privacy, because people want to know where and how their data is used, and they want the ability to control that. And finally, on top of the stack is ethics. And this is where real trust is really earned, where responsible use of data, inclusion of AI models, clear accountability, this digital trust stack, as I like to call it, with these three elements, has each layer supporting the next. And so if one is missing here, the entire structure becomes unstable. Next slide, please. Which brings us really nicely into how standards bridge this trust gap, right? So the good news here is that we don't have to build the stack from scratch. International standards give you that blueprint in order to use accordingly. From the base of the pyramid, same sort of logic. So ISO 27000 is all about establishing and maintaining an information security management system. Stacked on top is the extension to privacy, really help managing data subjects' rights, consent, control. And then as you make your way up, you get to ISO 42000 that we've already talked about, the newest to this stack, really helping manage AI governance. On the side, I place business continuity, which is all about ensuring that your business is prepared for disruption. So that's also a vital part of trust. So the thing is that these frameworks really turn best intentions into verifiable, auditable practices. And so that's how we really move from compliance to confidence. And here at BSI, we assist organizations in navigating these complexities by applying these globally recognized standards. Next slide, please. And so a recurring question that we all get really often is, why should we pursue certification? And what we've outlined here are 4 key reasons. The first one is all about demonstrating your real commitment to show that you're not only compliant with laws, but more proactively protecting your systems, your data. And certification provides that powerful message to your customers that you take their trust seriously. The second item is all about risk mitigation, which ISO is really all about, our risk-based framework. So from cyber threats to ethical lapses, standards really give you that framework to proactively identify, assess, and reduce risks. The third one's all about improving stakeholder confidence. So here, when you're working with, let's say, government clients, enterprise partners, regulators, certification really establishes that credibility that is needed for that conversation. And lastly, it drives efficiency, because certified systems tend to be better structured, more consistent, more resilient, which means fewer surprises and smoother operations. So it's not just a checkbox exercise anymore. It's larger than that. It's a strategic investment in how your business operates, competes, and grows with trust at its core. Next slide, please. So on this slide, we are illustrating the basic steps of how to get certified, the certification journey. So the first one really is all about planning and making sure the certification route you've selected is the right for your business, is valuable for your business objectives. Implementing an ISO certification requires dedication, time, resources, collaboration with a clear documented process. So that's where actually the next step comes in. We're very happy to support you in your journey with our deep expertise in ISO 27000, ISO 42000, through our BSI Training Academy, which Rosaline will walk in the next section. And we have a large variety of trainings through lead auditor to lead implementer. Then we go through the next stage here is implementation of the standards requirements within your organization. So that's on you, the client. The next part is where we come back in. And it's really to conduct an initial stage audit or assessment of your management systems, where stage one is a documentation review, which is a completedness of your ISMS or AIMS documentation. And stage two is really the auditor who will come in and evaluate the implementation of your management system to confirm that it functions effectively, aligns with the standard in question. And of course, once the it's all evaluated and completed, and a recommendation has been made, you will be, upon successful completion, you will be awarded a certification. Thereafter, it doesn't stop there. Actually, maintaining a management system is just as important for continuous improvement. Next slide, please. So, I mean, what's next? What can you do today? And so I've outlined here 4 things. The first one is all about mapping and assessing your current state. And over here, it could be your AI footprint, for instance. What risks and what gaps exist today? And the next item is all about choosing the right standard, the one that aligns best with your business strategy. And once you've done that, step 3 is really to understand and adopt the right standard for you. Build your governance in-house, work with experts like BSI to upskill your staff accordingly, and ultimately implement and certify your systems against an internationally recognized management system standard. And this approach really will help future-proof your operations, win stakeholder trust. And bottom line, by leveraging global standards, you're leveraging a repeatable, auditable practice that will scale within your organization. Next slide, please. So with that, I leave you with some closing remarks. Don't just aim to be compliant, please aim to be trusted, and let trust become your differentiator. Now, thank you for your time, and I'll hand over to my colleague, Rosaline, who will dive deeper into trainings and enablement.
Thank you, Mona. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Roslyn Low. I'm the Senior BD for BSI Singapore. So my role is to support our clients in upskilling their workforce and drive sustained business performance through our globally recognized and accredited training solutions. Right, next slide, please. So as what Mike shared earlier, BSI being one of the largest training and certification bodies for over a century now, we have been bringing together practitioners to create global best practice standards and regulatory frameworks. So since the launch of the BSI's Auditor Practitioner qualification programs in 2022, over 25,000 qualifications were commenced, with more than 20,000 individuals successfully completed, and over 5,000 are still going through the qualification process. So these structured qualification pathways offer organizations a powerful tool for developing expertise and embedding best practices. Basically, it follows a clear pathway. So from practitioner to professional to certified professional, it is really ensuring knowledge is not only learned, but applied in the real world settings. So starting from auditor practitioner, it really acts as the first step in the BSI's auditor pathway. It is well structured and globally recognized to effectively ensure compliance, drive organizational improvements using internal audits with the pathways to advanced practitioner levels. So who should be attending is mainly the management system owners or practitioners who are involved in standard compliance. Then the next step would be the auditor professional, is the intermediate tier in the BSI's 3-stage auditor pathway. It helps to enable individuals to provide value-added audit feedback targeting at continual improvement. And who should be attending is mostly those who are ready to move beyond compliance audits and to contribute to systematic improvements in their organizations. So last but not least is the certified professional. It really represents the highest tier in the BSI's auditor qualification pathway, demonstrating that you are not only having the expertise from training, but you are also actively and effectively applying it in the real world environments. So who should be attending this? It would be those who have already previously completed the auditor professional qualification. So now you may ask, what is this mark of trust and why does it matter? So basically, the mark of trust is a symbol of excellence awarded by BSI when an individual successfully completed a BSI qualification. It serves as a reliable symbol of credibility, helps the public in distinguishing trustworthy organizations in environments where transparency is lacking. So achieving and maintaining BSI certified qualifications enhances your professional standing and signals to your customers and stakeholders that you are adhering to the top tier standards. This is very important for both individuals as well as organizations as they act as global respected proof of competence, credibility, and commitment to excellence. I'm sure you will all agree that AI is shaping virtually every sector, from finance to national security to healthcare to transportation, smart cities. Basically, by enhancing human capabilities with data-driven decision making. And it is projected to contribute between 15 to 20 trillion to global GDP by 2030 and significantly boosting economic growth around the world. So to fully harness the transformative potential of AI, it is important for organizations to implement the right processes to navigate and manage the complexities of AI regulation, risk, and quality management. So you may be wondering, or maybe some of you are already aware. So what exactly is the ISO 42000? It is the world's first international standard and officially published only in December 2023 for AI, providing formal governance best practices for organizations deploying or developing AI systems. It defines a management system framework that guides how organizations should oversee the use, deployment, and the life cycle of AI systems. So BSI's structured learning solutions are centered around the world's first AI management system. In this case, it will be the ISO 42000. So as you can see from here, it's just to give you a very quick overview. The professional qualification for AI is very much a comprehensive qualification pathway and designed to equip professionals like yourself with the knowledge and skills necessary to implement and manage AI management system in compliance with the ISO 42001. So for the internal auditor is the very first step in helping you to develop the skills to effectively audit AI management system based on the ISO 42001. Lead auditor is the next step designed to help you master the skills needed to develop the expertise in evaluating compliance, guide your organizations toward continuous improvement, and champion trustworthy AI practices at the leadership level. Last but not least, for the lead implementer, it is the final step in your practitioner qualification journey, where it is designed to enable you in advancing your skills to manage compliance, drive innovation, and build trustworthy AI frameworks that align with international standards. So who needs the AI MS training, the AI management system training? Practically is any organizations who often assume multiple roles within the AI ecosystem. The training, the ISO 42001 training, is relevant to any organizations and even professionals who will be involved in the development, the deployment, or managing AI management systems. So just to give you an example of roles, amplifies an organization that embodies multiple roles within the AI ecosystem. They can be a provider, in this case, where they offer AI solutions through platforms like the Azure AI, providing tools and services for AI development and deployment. They are also a producer where the company develops its own AI models and technologies and contributing to the advancement of AI capabilities. They can also be an AI partner where they collaborate with other entities such as SAP and other business partners to integrate AI functionalities into their applications, enhancing the value proposition for end users. So this multifaceted approach allows Microsoft to influence various stages of the entire AI lifecycle, from development to deployment and integration. So this is just to give you an example of within an organization, say for example, a bank, on top of their existing ISO 27001, which is the Information Security Management System certification, how they are leveraging on the BSI's ISO 42000 AIMS training, and how it can benefit their entire organization from leadership down to the operations. So by combining role-based learning, practical simulations, and the certification preparation, this bank's AIMS training approach has effectively operationalized the ISO 42001. It teaches their workforce how to integrate AI governance in minimizing duplication and reinforcing cohesive policies. So as a result of this training initiative, the outcomes and impacts are that there are many different outcomes and impacts, but of course, some of them are very much like reducing bias incidents in their loan decisions with a clear non-discrimination framework, and of course, cross-functional buy-in, as well as internal control enhancement and empowered governance framework, basically aligning AI risks processes with the existing ISO systems like the ISO 27001. So some of you may ask, why does the BSI AI and digital trust training helps? How can it help you? So basically, BSI's AI and digital trust training, particularly now with the ISO 42001 AI management system courses, it isn't just for auditors and or policymakers. It is essential for everyone who are contributing to the life cycle, to the governance, and the oversight of AI. It empowers your organizations to deliver reliable, secure, compliant, and continuously improving AI-driven services backed by globally recognized standards and governance frameworks. With a few of these benefits, of course, I would like to highlight on how it can help to mitigate risk. So basically, BSI training helps with organizational resilience. So by adopting standards-based risk frameworks, it reduces incidents, reputation damage, and of course, legal exposure, risk which supports reputational as well as the consumer trust. For the strengthen of service delivery, which is another one that I like to highlight, apart from the rest of the benefits, is it really helps organizations strengthen service delivery by integrating standardized, practice-driven excellence across AI operations. This would ensure services that will meet client expectations reliably and securely. So basically, by combining standards-based frameworks as well as focus control training and high-level trust assessments, BSI's digital trust and AI training empowers organizations to manage AI-related risk proactively, ethically and transparently. So these capabilities definitely will support stronger governance, regulatory readiness, as well as stakeholder trust. I just want to also highlight that why the BSI's auditor of qualifications would very much help organizations is our qualifications follow a structured pathway, as you can see earlier, as I've shared, from practitioner to professional to certified professional, as well as a rigorous assessment at each stage. It validates and what you're applying in terms of the knowledge effectively, not just as attending workshop as a lecturers, but also it differs from the other training providers in terms of offering a holistic approach to a learning pathway. So with that, I thank you for your time, and we're looking forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rosaline, Mona, and Mike, for your insightful sharing. We have now come to the Q&A segment. If you haven't submitted yours yet, feel free to pop them into the Q&A box, and we'll try to cover as many as we can in the time that we have left. We have some great questions that came through our chat bot instead. Mike, would you mind to share that for organization just starting their AI journey? What's the one key step they can take to ensure trust and compliance are built in from the start?
Good question. I think during my presentation, I mentioned everyone within the organization has to have an understanding of the role that they play to allow the decision makers to make informed decisions when it comes to the use of AI, having that fundamental understanding of the basics and those concepts as we describe them in 22989 is a really good place to start. With all of these systems that we put in place, the human is always the weakest link. So we need to ensure that we educate and ensure that everyone within the organization has a level of understanding so that they can support the organization in their responsible use of AI.
Thank you, Mark. The next questions, I think, Mona, this one is right up your alley. So the question is, are there any common gaps or challenges business face when preparing for cybersecurity related certifications?
Absolutely. So the biggest gap I hear from my clients is on their supply chain. Who else within their vendors has gaps, right? And so what we look to do is help promote a supply chain for cybersecurity standard as well. Look at that framework and see how to implement that. Or look at the local standards here in Singapore from a cyber essentials point of view, and that have the starting points for cyber trust certification, and look at that as well. So that's the most common aspect I see with my clients.
Thank you, Mona. Right, and that brings us to the end of today's sessions. Thanks again to our wonderful speakers and to all of you for tuning in. Until next time, see you again.